If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
So yeah, Vegas was today, and well, Vegas had a lot of things. At least there wasn't as much bullshit in this week's race as last year's race at Charlotte was. Which Charlotte was a complete fucking embarrassment, and the ratings still continuing to go down the chase. But everyone that still defends this bullshit format, they'll probably use the NFL excuse for the low ratings and say, "Oh, it's the NFL fault that the NFL keeps taking our viewers away." Instead of looking at the real fucking problems, because it's easier to make excuses than find the real problems of the sport. But anyway, with all that negativity out of the way, I think it's time we just look at some of the positives from this weekend. And let's talk about all the races that happened this weekend in Vegas. So, started off, we had the ARCA West race at the Vegas Bull Ring just beside Vegas. And well, the ARCA West race, it was dominated by Taylor Gray. Despite the race going into a one-lap overtime finish, so double OT, still no one could stop Taylor Gray, and Taylor Gray gets the win, and during all of that, Jake Drew, I believe he gets enough points, and Jake Drew will clinch the ARCA West championship. So yeah, Jake Drew gets the ARCA West title with a race remaining this season. There's nothing wrong with locking up the title a race early. Anyone that thinks that's a problem is not a real racing fan, and they're just a WWE fan pretending to be a racing fan. So yeah, congrats to Jake Drew on winning the championship. Well deserved for him. Great rebound from him after he lost the ARCA West title last year to Jesse Love in a tiebreaker. But what a rebound out of him. Like, had a really good season. At one point won 3 or 4 races in a row. You know, well deserved championship from Jake Drew. And, of course, also, this race was also the battle between the Burgesses of Bridget and Sarah, the first time a mother-daughter duel have taken part in a motorsport race of any kind. With Bridget getting the edge over Sarah. So, yeah. Congrats to Bridget on that, you know, that was pretty cool to see. Even though it was ARCA West, it was still a cool moment to see. But, yeah. So, yeah, ARCA West, they got one race left this season. That's the season finale at Phoenix in a couple weeks, taking place during Phoenix Championship weekend. So yeah, that's where we leave off there with ARCA West. Only one race left. And that's the only ARCA series left, as we're coming down to the end of the season. But before we continue on to the Xfinity and Cup, we got one thing though we need to address, because Cole Custer, he was in some hot water this week. Where Cole Custer, he apparently manipulated the outcome of that race at Charlotte last week by brake-checking 3 people so Briscoe could back his way into the round of 8 and fuck Larson over. So yeah, Cole Custer, he had to spin the NASCAR wheel of discipline, and the wheel landed on "you're fucked." A 50-point penalty and a $100,000 fine to Custer, and his crew chief suspended indefinitely with a $100,000 fine too. And honestly, this incident just showed a lot of NASCAR's inconsistency here, because how was Custer's a fucking because Custer, he manipulated the race, but NASCAR hasn't been consistent with manipulation, because it's crazy how to penalize Custer for it, but yet Kevin Harvick, Talladega 2015, intentionally wrecks the field so we can move on to the round of 8. No penalty. Martinsville 2020, Eric Jones was told on the radio to not pass Denny Hamlin so Hamlin could go to the Final Four. No penalty. Also in that same race, Kevin Harvick intentionally wrecks Kyle Busch on the final turn, the last lap, to try and make the Final Four, and in the end he wrecks himself. No penalty. Last year at Bristol, Chase Elliott intentionally holding up Kevin Harvick so Kyle Larson could win. No penalty. And yes, Elliott fans, you can make the excuse saying, "Oh, well, Elliott was just teaching Harvick a lesson. He just was trying to cross Harvick to win and trying to take back what Harvick robbed him of." You can make that argument all you want, Elliott fans. It doesn't change the fact that was still manipulating the outcome of a race. And as much as I like Chase Elliott, Elliott should have got a penalty for that. But NASCAR didn't because, yeah, well, less said the better. And of course, a couple weeks ago, what was it? Oh yeah, William Byron intentionally wrecks Denny Hamlin under caution. Gets a $100,000 fine, a slap on the fucking wrist. And then Scott Miller had the worst explanation to this whole penalty, saying, oh well, the penalty would have been more severe if it benefited Briscoe, but it didn't. If it didn't benefit Briscoe, then why the hell did you penalize Custer in the first place then? You fucking dumb darfs. And then Scott Miller had the worst explanation when they asked about the Elliott and Eric Jones things, when he said, oh well, they didn't make it clear enough on the radio they were going to do that. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? The Elliott and Jones incidents didn't make it clear on the radio? Chase Elliott literally said on the radio, where's the 5 at? I'll help him out. That's not clear enough? Or on the radio, Jones' team telling Jones not to pass Hamlin because Hamlin needs the point? That's not clear enough? Like, NASCAR's effectively saying it's okay to manipulate the outcome of a race as long as you don't make it sound obvious on the radio. And with NASCAR also a couple weeks showing that it's okay to wreck someone under caution as long as nobody gets hurt. Like NASCAR, they've set themselves down a dangerous dark path. A path that could take them out a bit, that could lead to complete anarchy. Like, honestly, let's be real though, NASCAR's never gonna fucking change anything until someone fucking dies or gets badly hurt. And yeah, we already had the badly hurt part because, you know, Kurt Busch's concussion? That concussion has now effectively ended his full-time career since Kurt Busch is now retiring from full-time competition, but said he would open the door for part-time racing if the opportunity presents itself. Which means Tyler Reddick will be going to 2311 a year early to drive the 45 car. As it turned out, Childress was bluffing about the whole third charter thing, and just wanted to say that just so 2311 can buy his final year out. So yeah, it sucks that Kurt Busch is now out of a ride. That Kurt Busch is retiring because of that. Kurt Busch deserved a way better send-off than what happened to him. He deserves so much better. But in the end, this just proves that life isn't fair. And the racing gods are cruel bastards. But don't worry, Kurt Busch. You'll have your spot in the Hall of Fame in Charlotte one day. It's inevitable. But yeah, still, Kurt Busch had a pretty successful career nonetheless. 32 wins, a championship in 2004. You know, a very successful career from Kurt Busch nonetheless. And it's also the end of an era, because Kurt Busch, he was the last full-time driver in the field that raced against Dale Sr. in the Cup Series. And also, with Kurt Busch retired, it means that Kevin Harvick is the last full-time driver in the Cup Series from the Winston Cup era. My childhood is already dying in flames. Man, I feel so goddamn old now. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's now focus onto the Xfinity Chase race at Las Vegas. And well, this race, it was mainly a race between Gibbs and Gregson. Even had, really the Junior Motorsports cars were fast, along with the RCR cars. It's like the RCR Junior Motorsports, this round favors Hill and all the Junior Motorsports cars. In this round, Allmendinger just struggled throughout the race. And late in the race, when Gregson was able to get a massive lead off the final pit stops around 5 or 6 seconds left, I was watching with my mom and my grandma, and I was literally to both of them saying, watch NASCAR throw a BS caution to try and manipulate the outcome of this race. I literally said that at a few laps later. NASCAR throws a caution with 40 to go for a Brandon Jones spinning and saving a car from spinning out. Let's be real about the Brandon Jones one. That was not a caution. Brandon Jones literally saved the car. And that also showed more NASCAR consistency because Trevor Bayne had the same thing happen to him on lap 1. No caution for that. But with Brandon Jones, it's a caution because it's 40 to go and it's late in the race. Yeah, it's not a caution for Trevor Bayne because it's lap 1. But late in the race, oh yeah, we gotta throw the caution for that because we gotta have that fake entertainment to cater to our fake casual fans that don't give a shit about this sport, instead of actually listening to the real fucking fans that actually give a shit. Let's be real, NASCAR does listen to the fans. But they listen to the wrong ones. And the ones that don't give a shit. And never act in good faith. So yeah, the whole thing about NASCAR not listening to fans, no, they do. They just listen to the wrong crowd. And that wrong crowd keeps hurting the sport every time. But yeah, make no mistake about it, Noah Gragson did get fucked over there. Because Gragson had that race in the bag until that caution. And then on the final restart, we would have Josh Berry get the lead and he would pull away. We'd also have AJ Allmendinger end up with a loose wheel. So now Allmendinger's entire season now goes in jeopardy. The good news is there's still 2 races left for Allmendinger to ride the ship. But despite Noah Gragson's best efforts, as he would end up at second, he would not be able to run down Josh Berry. And Josh Berry gets his 3rd win of the season, winning at Las Vegas. So yeah, Josh Berry wins the chase race at Vegas for the 2nd year in a row. But this time, with Josh Berry, this win punches his ticket as he is now advanced to the Final 4. So Josh Berry in 3 weeks at Phoenix, he will have a chance at the Xfinity title. Honestly, congrats to Josh Berry there. Well deserved from him, you know. Like, honestly, in my Chase Grid predictions, like, I think when I had Josh Berry in the Final 4, a lot of people questioned what the hell I was doing, saying, how could you put him in over Allgaier? Well, that was the one prediction I was probably expecting to get wrong, and I ended up getting it right. So, let me just say, I called my shot with Josh Berry. I said he would be in the Final 4, and he did. So yeah, I'll go ahead, and I'll take my bow. So yeah, congrats to Josh Berry there. So yeah, Berry, he is the first driver to lock himself in the Final 4. And we also had a bit of a little altercation between Allgaier and Gragson when Allgaier forgot what a brake pedal was and slammed into Gragson on the pit road after the race. And then Allgaier and Gragson just had a couple words, and that was it. Just a very peaceful altercation. Nothing too major. And of course, NASCAR trying to stir the pot there, saying Allgaier was not happy. It's like, fuck off. Allgaier just lost his brakes. Fuck right off. Stop trying to stir the pot with your fake entertainment WWE wannabe bullshit. But yeah, was a good race, but the manipulation there with 40 to go kind of ruined it. But at least the Junior Motorsports car won, so at least we got that. But hey, for Gragson, at least Gragson's got Homestead next week, which he arguably should have won the last 3 Homestead races in Xfinity, but he did it because of bad luck. Maybe this time will be the charm for Gragson. We'll have to see. But before we move on to the Cup race at Phoenix at Las Vegas, we do have a little silly season here because we have something about the whole SHR thing, because remember how we all thought Cole Custer was locked into 41 and that was the reason why Kyle Busch wants an SHR? Apparently that's not the case. Because now, SHR has a little drama because it's split on who's in the 41. Gene Haas wants Custer in the 41. Tony Stewart wants Ryan Preece in the 41. And it's just a massive clusterfuck of a situation. Like, and honestly, neither of them want terrible Herbst in the Cup Series because Riley Herbst is terrible. At least he's better than last year, but still not that good enough. And it's also been mentioned that Kevin Harvick is going to leave the team after 2023. He is not coming back to SHR. But are trying to reach an extension. It's like, why are you trying to extend Harvick? Harvick doesn't want to race for you after 2023. Just let him retire in peace, for fuck's sakes. Like, honestly, I'll just say it here. SHR needs to blow it up. They need to rebuild. They need to rebuild the team. But it seems like SHR, they just want to relive their glory days of 2014. And just keep delaying what's inevitable. Just blow it up and let the rebuild happen. Like, the sooner you let the rebuild happen, the sooner you can fix your fucking problems. Because if you keep delaying it, the problems are just going to grow and grow and grow. Until you dig yourself into a ridiculous hole that you can't dig out of. Because if they keep delaying it, SHR's just going to dig themselves into a fucking hole that's going to take 3 to 5 years to fucking dig out of before they can rebuild the team. Like, honestly, Custer should be in Xfinity, but there's really nobody left capable of taking the 41 car. And honestly, I feel like Ryan Preece should take the 4 car when Harvick retires. Because Preece actually has fucking talent. Just let me put this in perspective for SHR. SHR chose Cole Custer over both Daniel Suarez and Kyle Busch. SHR also chose Chase Briscoe over Kyle Larson. Just gonna say that here. And also, Tony Stewart is fucking pissed about the whole Cole Custer penalty. And Tony Stewart even saying that if it wasn't that he had to make a couple appearances a year, he wouldn't even bother with this trash heap of a sport. And honestly, I don't blame Tony Stewart with how fucking garbage NASCAR's become this year. Like, the officiating's been bad, the manipulation's out of control, and it seems like NASCAR's just becoming a fucking full-fledged battle royale at this point. Like, how the fuck do you crown a real champion at this point? It's just fucking survival of the fittest and who can get lucky at the right time. And Tony even saying that he's open to suggestions that are outside of NASCAR. Anything that's not Southeast-based. All I say, Tony, is if you want, you can always come to the Penny Series up in Canada, especially for the Oswego race. I mean, hey, all us Penny Series fans up in Canada, we would welcome Tony Stewart in with open arms. Penny Series, Oswego Speedway, bring Tony Stewart to the Penny Series in 2023 for one race. Bring Tony Stewart to Oswego. Make it happen. But now we get to the Cup race at Las Vegas. So, of course, the Vegas, we had the pace lab, which was paced by Mark Martin's 98 Roush Fenway 6 Ford, which was the same fucking car that Mark Martin won the inaugural race at Vegas with in 1998 during Mark Martin's career year in 98. So, yeah, that was pretty cool to see that car pace the field. So, yeah, that was cool to see that. And overall, this race, there were a lot of comers and goers. Like, you had Reddick lead the early part, then Cindric. Like, there were a lot of comers and goers in this race, but much of this race was dominated by Logano. Like, even had Suarez up there along with Chastain and Bubba Wallace, even Bubba winning the first stage. And a lot of people are going to discredit the stage win because it happened under caution when Kyle Busch spun out with 3 to go. To be honest, though, Bubba was going to win that stage anyway, but hey, we got to give the Bucket Boomers an excuse. And then we get to stage 2 where shit hit the fan. Because early on in stage 2, we had Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace was battling Kevin Harvick for position on the track. And then we had Kyle Larson make a daring 3-wide pass. He was able to get past Harvick, was side by side with Bubba Wallace. And then Larson got a little loose off turn 4, had to chase up the track, which forced Bubba in the wall. And I guess by Bubba being forced in the wall, it's like, oh no, Larson. You forced Bubba in the wall, and you did that without stroking his cock or putting a pillow right there. How dare you? You're gonna piss on the limbs off with that. And Bubba Wallace got triggered as Bubba would then chase Larson down the track, and Bubba would turn Kyle Larson straight into the wall, hooked him right on the straightaway, as Larson's rear end would make contact with Christopher Bell, and then Larson goes in the wall along with Bubba to bring out a caution. And then after that sequence, Bubba Wallace would get out of the car. He would walk all the way down to the track as Kyle Larson was slow getting out. Bubba, of course, took his helmet off in that, and as soon as he got close to Larson, Bubba would then drop his helmet, and Bubba, for some odd reason, in an incident that was his own fault, Bubba would shove Kyle Larson straight into Larson's own car, and then continued to shove while Larson asked what the hell. I don't understand why Bubba was that mad. Like, that was Bubba's own fault. Larson didn't even do anything wrong. That's hard racing. And Larson got loose. He didn't even barely touch Bubba. Like, Bubba overreacted in that whole situation, intentionally hooking Kyle Larson. Like, that was uncalled for. And then the shoving was uncalled for. It's like, honestly, why are you getting mad at Larson, Bubba, when you did it when it was your own damn fault? Like, you overreacted. You let your emotions once again get the better of you. But hey, at least Bubba did it without his helmet on. And also, Bubba, why the fuck would you shove Larson while Larson still had his helmet in his hand? Honestly, be glad Larson was the bigger man in that situation and didn't swoop down to Bubba's level. Because if Larson wasn't the bigger man, he probably would have swung that helmet right at your stupid fucking face. And then Bubba's interview after, that was one of the worst interviews I ever watched. Where Bubba took no fucking responsibility for his actions, had no fucking remorse. Like, seemed like Bubba had no problem trying to injure someone. Especially on a teammate when your teammate Kurt Busch was forced to retire from an injury caused by this car. And then Bubba Wallace trying to pull the excuse saying that he didn't mean to wreck Kyle Larson, that it wasn't retaliation, that he lost his steering. Oh yeah, sure, you did. You lost your steering. That's why you went all the way right down immediately and hooked him right on a straightaway. And then Bubba Wallace accused NBC of trying to fish and stir up the pot for drama. It's like, what fucking drama? They're calling it as they saw it. Like, yeah, NBC had their flaws this year, especially earlier in the race when they went to commercial as soon as Reddick and Cindric were about to battle for the lead. It's like, NBC is literally calling what you did. They calling you out for what you did. You literally wrecked him on purpose. Like, honestly, that was one of the worst fucking interviews I ever watched. And honestly, I lost a lot of respect for Bubba Wallace after today's race. Because what Bubba Wallace did, I don't fucking care what the reasoning is. Hooking someone and wrecking someone on a straightaway at full speed, that's a chicken shit move on Bubba Wallace's part. And I imagine all the Bubba Wallace slappies, they're going to come in the comments and start calling me a racist. When I didn't even mention Bubba's skin color. I don't fucking care about skin color. I evaluate drivers based on fucking talent. And I respect goodwill when I see it. But Bubba did today, that was uncalled for. And also I should mention during that whole fight that Bubba Wallace actually shoved an official during all that. And yeah, let's be real, NASCAR's more than likely going to throw the book at Bubba. Because NASCAR's made it clear in the past, you do not touch a NASCAR official. That's a no-no area. Honestly, I feel like Bubba should be suspended. Like, Bubba should at least get a one-race suspension, maybe dock 50 to 75 points, and maybe dine 100,000. I think that would be a reasonable penalty. I think suspending him for the rest of the season, I think that's an overreaction. I think at least one race, some points, and a fine. I think that's the appropriate penalty, but NASCAR's probably going to be fucking inconsistent and give Bubba probably a slap on the wrist. Because NASCAR wants entertainment. Because, oh look, that whole thing, that was entertaining, and we gotta have that fake entertainment. The key there to the fake casual fans that don't give a fuck about this sport. But anyway, after that, though, it was pretty tame. It was a pretty tame race for the most part. Like, we had a couple incidents, like, we had Ryan Blaney lose a wheel, lose the tire late in the race. And then we had Kyle Busch do the best he can to keep his tire on the left front tire on the car until it inevitably fell off. Because when it was smoking, the car was smoking, I was like, wait, is that a fucking tire? Loose wheel, or was he blowing up? But I noticed the wheel was there, and I was like, oh no, that wheel was going to fall off, and it did. And the crowd cheered. Like, I'm not sure if the crowd was cheering because it's Kyle Busch, and they still hate Kyle Busch for stuff that happened 10, 15 years ago. I'm not sure if that was the reason the fans were cheering, or if it was Kyle Busch cheering in the crowd, because with that wheel falling off, it means that Ben Bayshore's gone the rest of the year. So now Kyle Busch will have a real crew chief instead of Ben Bayshore. Or it could be a mix of both. I mean, take your fucking pick at the end of the day. Because, yeah, NASCAR fans are, well, NASCAR fans. Take your pick, I guess. But in the end, this race would end up becoming a duel between Ross Chastain and Joey Logano for the win. Like, Chastain did his damnedest to try and hold Logano off, but in the end, Logano was just too much for Chastain to hold off, as Logano would get past him with 3 to go. Like, I'm honestly surprised Logano didn't dump Chastain after Chastain blocked him a couple times. Like, it's stuff like Logano actually won this race clean without wreck dumping someone for the win. Damn, I'll be damned. And yeah, Logano goes on and he wins the race at Las Vegas. So yeah, Logano gets the win at Vegas. Like I said in my Chase Grid bracket prediction, I told you so. Penske cars always weirdly have speed at Vegas for some odd reason. And that's why I had Logano winning this race. And lo and behold, he won. So yeah, for the first time this year, I actually got a race right for once this year. I'll be damned. And with Logano's win, Logano has officially punched his ticket into the Final Four. So Joey Logano will have a chance to win a second championship in 3 weeks at Phoenix. And also with Logano making the Final Four, it means that the cycle of Logano making the Final Four every even number of years continue. Because look at every Logano's Final Four appearances. Let me tell you what they all have in common. 2014, 2016, 2018, 2020, and now 2022. All 5 are on even number years. And Logano has always missed the Final Four on odd number years. So judging off on this pattern, it means that next year Logano's gonna fall apart and not even be a title contender next year under this pattern. So yeah, judging by this pattern, I'm predicting that Logano will be eliminated in a round of 8 next year. And also we had a bit of a yellow match after between Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch, who finished 3rd. Wait, Busch finished 3rd in this race? What the fuck? Even after losing the left front wheel and spinning out early in the race, he still came back to finish 3rd? Okay, damn. Damn, that was an actually impressive drive from Kyle Busch. I'll give him that. This is a good weekend for Kyle Busch fans. He gets a podium finish at his home track, and the Kyle Busch fans no longer have to deal with Ben Bayshore for the rest of the season. Yeah, I think this is the one time a crew chief got suspended where the fans were actually happy for it. Yeah, because Ben Bayshore, he does kind of fucking suck. But it's not bullshit there. He sucks ass. Gustafson fucking crew chief circles around Bayshore. What's not even bullshit there. But yeah, because Chastain, he didn't make a block on Kyle Busch and forced Kyle into the wall there on the last lap. Oh look, Chastain pissing someone off this year. Where have we seen this one before? I feel like we've seen, Chastain pissing someone off. I feel like we've seen this one this year before. Can't quite put my finger on where I've seen it before. But I feel like it's happened a couple times this year. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, honestly, a lot of people saying Kyle Busch is washed up and can't drive. Honestly, some of those Kyle Busch haters need to shut the fuck up and think before they fucking speak. Because Kyle Busch has good wheel. He's still a damn good wheelman. He's just had a lot of shitty luck this year. Kyle Busch cannot buy fucking good luck this year if his life depended on it. Honestly though, I think a lot of Busch fans are just happy that he'll be going to RCR next year in that 8 car. But yeah, Logano makes it to the Final Four. He's in the Final Four, so now 3 spots still up for grabs with 2 races left. And honestly, for the L8 fans demanding for Gustafson to be fired, just stop right there. I knew Chase Elliott was going to struggle this week, because Vegas is one of his worst fucking tracks. I knew he was going to struggle. But here's the, don't hit, just stop with that shit. It's not going to happen. NASCAR, HMS is already using their crew chief change card for this year for Alex Bowman. If Bowman comes back next year, because who knows what happens with him and his concussion. Since Bowman's more than likely gone the rest of the season, which means Gragson gets the 48 the rest of the season. So yeah, with that concussion thing, as the Bowman's new crew chief for next year's announcing, it's gonna be Blake Harris, the crew chief for McDowell's team. So hey, at least it's not Kevin Mendering. Thank fucking God it's not Kevin Mendering, because Mendering fucking sucks. But yeah, still a solid race out of Las Vegas, but Vegas Owner Suite should only have 1 date, like a majority of the tracks on the schedule. Vegas does not need 2 dates, but the bad news is Vegas is guaranteed 2 dates until 2031. God help us all. Unless they take the 2nd date and move it to the Bull Ring, or even do that street circuit race in Vegas that F1 wants to do. And also NASCAR's talking about doing a street race in New York. Why? Just why? F1 tried it before and it didn't happen. And a lot of locals in Chitoyot are against NASCAR coming to the race. Honestly, if NASCAR wants to do a street race so bad, why not just go to fucking Toronto and run on the streets of Toronto instead? Toronto will be more accepting than Chicago. Hell, Toronto already accepts IndyCar in the Penny Series almost every year. Honestly, Toronto would welcome the Cup Series with open arms. I'll be honest there. Hell, I would go to the race for sure. But the problem is, if they run in Toronto, it would have to be the same weekend that IndyCar is there. I mean, I'm not against that idea. I mean, we've seen NASCAR and IndyCar run together on the same weekend before. It can work. We've seen them do it before. So, because it costs a lot of money to set up a street circuit and tear it all down, it would cost a lot more money to do it twice instead of just do it one time. But yeah, I would be down to have the Cup Series run on the streets of Toronto, to be honest. Because that street circuit they ran for IndyCar in the Pinty Series is fucking cool. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. But yeah, that's the Vegas race. Now let's take a look at the chase grids. We do got the truck race cut off to decide the Truck Series Final Four next week at Homestead, Miami. But yeah, let's take a look at the chase grid to see how much the drivers are getting fucked over with this entertainment shit. So here's the Xfinity chase grid after Las Vegas. So Josh Berry, he's guaranteed a spot in the Final Four. So now there's 3 spots still up for grabs. Noah Gregson's in a really good spotter in Homestead, being 44 points to good. You got Ty Gibbs, who's 25 points to good. And then Justin Allgaier took advantage of Austin Hill and AJ Allmendiener's misfortunes to be 15 points to the good. You know, Hill and Allmendiener, they're still not out of it yet, but they need a lot of help next 2 weeks to have a chance to go to the Final Four. And then you got Brandon Jones, who had a bad finish, and Jones is now 27 back, so Jones is going to need a lot of help where he needs to win a race to make it to the next race, to make the Final Four. And Sam Mayer, 36 points in the hole. He's either going to need a lot of help, or he's more than likely going to need to win either Homestead or Lawrenceville if he wants to have a chance to compete for the title this year. But that is our Xfinity chase grid entering Homestead, Miami next week. So now, here are the Cup Series chase grid standings following Las Vegas, entering Homestead, Miami next week. So we got Logano now locked in. So 3 spots still remain up for grabs with 2 races left. So Chastain only 18 points to good, and Elliott, even though he ran like dog shit today and finished 21st, you know, no stage points, not finishing well. Lost a lot of points today and falls now 17 points above the cut line. So Elliott uses 1 mulligan in this round. So Elliott's got to run well at Homestead and Martinsville if he wants to have a shot at his 2nd title in 3 years. And being the rightful champion this year. We got Denny Hamlin, 6 points to the good over William Byron. So that's going to be a close battle between those two. Chase Briscoe, he leaves Las Vegas 9 points behind the cut line. Honestly, I hope Briscoe falls further down because Briscoe has no business being in the round of 8 with his mediocrity. Like, honestly, I hope Briscoe keeps falling down, but Briscoe will find a way to bullshit his way into the Final Four, probably. You got Blaney, who's now 11 points behind, but Blaney got a lot of stage points before that incident with his tires coming off late in the race, so he's in a decent position, but still a lot of work to go. And then you got Christopher Bell because of Bubba Wallace's pettiness. Bell is now 23 points below the cut line, so yeah, Bubba, thank you for being a massive douchebag in that whole thing, so that now Bell's in a fucking hole again. But hey, Bell, he was able to battle adversity before. Can he do it again? 2 races left. He's got plenty of time to make that up. Not the end of the world for him, but yeah, that's the chase grid standings after Vegas. So yeah, on to Homestead next week to see what kind of silliness happens in the chase. Especially with the Final Four for the Truck Series being set next week. But anyway, I'm out.